Hello. One of the projects I've been working on recently is I found a website, AliExpress, and they had some push button RGB push button LEDs, 16 millimeters. And see, what I was thinking is, you see on the side of the layout here, I got these red push buttons for selecting my different routes. So in that section I have 4, in that section I have 2, and all around the layout I have a bunch. And so what I've been doing is, like you see here, these are the holes. I had 5 over here. I had taken the red push buttons out and drilled the holes for the 16 millimeter RGB push buttons. And basically I accidentally ordered the wrong ones, because you have some version with the common anode and common cathode. I had ordered the wrong ones for the circuit board that I was going to be using. So it ended up, because I wanted to use the MGP panel decoder boards, and but they require, I get it mixed up, I think they require the common anode and not the cathode. So since I got 6 of the wrong switches, I can end up connecting them to one of these boards. This is from Team Digital. It's a CSCE board, and it's similar to the SIC24E board, which I actually have mounted just here behind these little 4 screws you can see here. So they're going to be, a board like that, similar to that, is going to be there and be wired up to the switches there. And with that board, what's neat is I could tell it either select a common anode or common cathode for the LEDs. So what's going to happen is it's going to feed. Let me see. I have 24 inputs on that board, so I'm going to have 8 switches, 8 times, because there's since it's RGB, there's a output. Sorry, it's going to be 24 outputs. So 3 times 8. Since there's 3 R, G, and B, and then there's 8 switches. There's going to be 5 on here, and then a couple on the other side of this board, and another one here. So it's going to be 8 of them are going to be wired up to that board and those switches. So and then I'll show you what the switches look like. These are the switches here, and you can see it's hard to see, but around that silver button there, the outside of the button is a LED, so that changes colors. And the way I wired them up was like this. And I actually used a ribbon cable and I used RGB colors. So I used the red for the red LED, G for green for green, and blue for blue, and then the black is a common. So I'm gonna have 5 of those guys wired up. And it might be hard to see, focus, let me see here. Yeah, it might be hard to see, but there's a common minus, so I think that's a common, not sure if it's anode or cathode. Anyway, common minus. Then I ended up getting the 8 switches that I needed, which are these guys. And what I actually ended up doing is I bought, I'll show you, where's that board? Right. Hold on. This board, this is 100 RGB, these are WS2811 chips. So what they do is they'll change, see, here on this, I need a wire for each one of the outputs to go to the board, or for the LEDs. So 3 wires plus the common. And for every light, so every light has, well, there'll be a common, and then every switch has to have a red, green, and blue, 3 wires going from every switch to that board, so it adds up. But if you use this type of board, what happens is the RGB ends up connecting to the little pins on the board. Yeah, there. See, I put some board, and now what happens is this board has a positive and a ground that gets daisy chained. There's a connection that you can do on the bottom of the board and the top of the board. So what you do is you bring 3 wire, you signal in, and then a positive and ground. And then from the other side, you get a positive and ground out to the next switch, and then you connect the output, because on this one side of the board, this is output, and the other side of the board is the input. So basically, from your control board, which in my case I'm using the MGP panel decoders, I have one wire coming to the in, and then from the outside of this board goes to the next in, and the outside of that board goes to the X. So basically you end up having just 4 wires daisy chaining between each one of these switches. And so the wiring is a lot simpler than using the other system. But since I had those boards, those switches, like I said, I ordered the wrong ones. I had to find a way to use them. That's it. Unless that MGP board would have gave me the option to switch between common anode and common cathode, which I don't believe it does. But then I'm going to use these switches on other places on the layout. So you'll see, like I have one there, I have 2 more there, I have a couple there, and then a few like I showed before earlier on the inside of this board. There's a few there. So that's what I've been working on. The other thing I've been working on is replacing the fascia on the side of the boards here. Well, all the corners, so because I'm fixing that up. And here I ended up getting a LCD monitor, so I did the fascia there, so it was all nice and clean compared to if you look at some of my previous videos, I had some stuff like all cut out and stuff. So now I have one of these screens like that there. Basically that screen comes from, I have a few of these computers lying around. Let me see, I think there's one over here. Let me get rid of this. See, it's a computer that it's like this. It's a, this is the PC, and then this is the monitor. So it's like on the swivel. So I took it out of its case basically, and I threw it into the layout there. And let me see if I can give you. Yeah, it's probably covered up the view. Yeah, see, there's a shelf here, and that PC part is sitting in there. Okay, I think that's I covered what I wanted. So as I progress in installing all these switches in the board and testing them all in the layout, I should say, I'll give you an update. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.